Welcome to my booktube.
Hey, thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I recently came across Book Outlet and discovered how wonderfully affordable their books are, and I may have bought 14 books, but it only cost $88, which I'm pretty sure included shipping, so I'm really excited to go through all of those with you, let you know what I got, what I'm most excited for, and just go through all of these 14 books with you. Quick Owls update. I'm not starting so hot. I read All the Stars and Teeth and Cruel Prince very quickly, so that was great. And then I started reading Scythe and I was enjoying it. I must have fallen into a reading slump or something because it took me over a week to finish that book, and I finally finished it a few days ago, and I have yet to start my next one. Things have just been surprisingly busy lately, so I have 7 days to finish 4 books, so wish me luck. That's going to be fun to cram in, but thankfully I have the weekend starting now, or after I finish this video anyway, which I'm also recording pretty last minute because it's been quite the week. I am very lucky to still be working. I am working from home, and my friend got me to sign up for this run bet, so I've started doing that, which is really exciting. It's an app where you bet money to follow the running schedule, and once you complete it at the end, everybody who does complete it splits the pot at the end, which is really cool, and you track your runs with a running app, so it tracks your distance and your speed. It has to be a minimum of 18-minute miles, but that's like a pretty brisk walk, which is very easy to do, which is great for me because I haven't run since last summer and I'm still using the same shoes from 2 summers ago when I started running, which is clearly a terrible choice. I should have bought new shoes last summer or at the beginning of this season, but then a pandemic happened and I can't buy any shoes unless I want to try to order online, which I might get daring enough to do because this really hurts. But anyway, back to the books. I have this big box to open and go through with you, so I'm excited. Most of these books I've had on my want to read list for a while, or I've recently come across them on BookTube and seen some really excellent recommendations for these books. I thought I'd give them a try, and since they were very affordable, I decided to go for it. So the first book I picked out of this box is Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This is about, I believe, a mortal girl who does portrait paintings for the fair folk. She's commissioned to do a painting for her first royal customer. It is one of the princes, but she paints the picture with sorrow in his eyes. It's something that could cost him his life because it's seen as a weakness. So she gets captured by the fair folk, has to undergo a trial, and they're forced to depend on one another for survival. In this world, there's also something amiss where he's from. All of the animals are acting really weird, so I'm excited to see how it goes, how it concludes. I haven't read too many books that are set in the fae or fair folk world, so I thought I would give this one a try, and it seems like a nice fun read, so I'm excited for this. The next book is Roar by Cora Carmack. This is about a girl, Aurora. She's to be the future queen. In her land, they are ravaged by a lot of storms, and typically the people who are in power have magic to control these storms and save the people, but Aurora herself doesn't possess the magic. I've heard that this is a really good book. I have heard that the romance can be a bit too heavy in it for some people who aren't that into romance. For me, it's not my favorite thing in a story, but sometimes it can be fun as long as the dynamic is fun between the characters, so I would enjoy that. The reason I'm looking forward to this one is because I haven't read too many fantasy that take place in a magical world where the main character themselves doesn't possess magic, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Either she needs to marry someone with magic or learn how to steal magic in order to save her people. I'm really interested to see how this one ends up turning out and if I end up enjoying it, if the romance does ruin it for me. I've heard that it can, so but we'll see. Sounds fun. So the next book that I have is Flamecaster by Cinda Williams Chima. I honestly don't know much about this book. It sounds like there is a prince who is trying to get his throne back, and it's a revenge story. There's a girl with a curse. Honestly, I only picked this book up because I had recently read Throne of Glass, and I really enjoyed it. Minus the romance, just wasn't my cup of tea, but I really enjoyed Aelin. The cover just reminded me of Aelin, and I thought it might be fun. I really enjoyed the whole take back the throne trope, so I think that this will be a book that'll be just a nice, light, fun, enjoying read for me. I think this book will be a good time. The next book that I picked is Markswoman. This is about a girl, Kyra. She is a markswoman in the Order of Kali, which is a sisterhood of elite warriors. Kyra wants to avenge her family, but when you join this order, you have to give up all of your past, so she's having a hard time letting go of that. Then when her mentor is killed, she's forced to flee. She's certain that the person who took over the order after that is responsible for the death of her mentor, and she wants to investigate that, so she's thrust into some sort of adventure to get through that. I picked this one up because I also really enjoy assassin-based or women who are warriors in my stories, and it just seems like something that could be right up my alley. The next book I picked up is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. 2 centuries before this story takes place, there were 3 sisters who were sentenced to death for being witches. Now every summer they come back and haunt the town where they possess the bodies of 3 of the troubled girls in the village, and these girls lure boys to their death to also be drowned in the river as revenge. The main character of this story is Penny. She's 17. Somehow she sees something that the other people in the village don't. I don't really know what the back of the book means by that, so I'm excited to get into this. There's a boy who wanders into Penny's village, and she has the choice of saving this boy or herself. I haven't read a book about witches in a really long time, and this sounds twisted and dark, and it just sounds like a really fun book. I don't know what exactly about this appeals to me, but I've heard good things. The next book that I picked up is The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Bedore. This I solely picked up because it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and I really enjoy Alice in Wonderland. They're saying that the original story of Alice Little is a myth, and that the real story is about a girl named Alice Hart, who is the true heir to the throne to succeed the Queen of Hearts. The story is that Red killed Alice's parents and stole the throne from her, so she needed to escape, and her goal is to reclaim the throne. Her and her friend Hatter Madigan go on an adventure together in order to try to get her throne back. Alice ends up getting lost and stuck in Victorian London, and Hatter is the only one who knows the truth and is trying to find Alice and get everything set straight. This sounds like a twisted version of Alice in Wonderland, which I am so down with. I really loved the video game Alice Madness Returns, so I'm hoping that it'll be something along those lines, because that would be really fun. The next book I got is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. She has amazing concepts. I have bought a bunch of her books that I haven't read, but I have a strong feeling that I'm really going to enjoy them. This one takes place, I think it's in a city called Verity. There is a girl, Kate Harker, who's a monster killer, and August Flynn, I think, has been turned into a monster, and he needs to let her back into the city. I believe from what I've heard from other reviews is either of them are on different sides of this war that's going on in the city, and a war has begun in the city between the monsters and the monster hunters. So that's all I know about this one. I've heard great things about it. I've heard wonderful things about V. Schwab, so I'm really excited to get into this one eventually as well. The next book I got is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe trilogy. I just finished reading Scythe a couple days ago, so I'm glad this came in because I'm probably going to pick it up next month once I finish my Owls for this month. If you're unfamiliar with the Arc of the Scythe trilogy, this takes place in our world, but some centuries or decades after 2042. That's when they stopped keeping track of time. Humans have conquered all sorts of ailments, conquered death, and the only problem that they're facing now is overpopulation. So they're a group of humans called Scythes, and they go around and kill people to keep the population down. Enjoyed reading Scythe. I think I'm probably going to do a book review on that probably next week. I might combine it with my review for Cruel Prince as well, as too many reviews, or I might have enough for a full review. We'll see how it ends up going. Definitely excited to get into this one. I'm glad this came in time that I don't have to wait. I was hoping to get The Toll as well, which is the third book, but they don't have it in paperback yet, and I like it when all of my books match, and since I have both of these in paperback, I will have to wait for the third book, because I don't want to get it in hardcover and then have them not match. The next book I got is Dry by Neil and Jared Shusterman. The sole reason I picked this book up is because I've heard it has been described as a book that will make you feel so thirsty, and I just wanted to experience that for myself. So I'm hoping that it does. I'm hoping I feel very parched and drink a lot of water, because, I mean, God knows I could use help with that. It sounds like this drought has led to some sort of war going on, and that's all I know about it, so I'm excited to see what else goes on in this story as well. The next book that I got is The Loneliest Girl in the World by Lauren James. I picked this one up on a recommendation from a friend because she reads a lot of sci-fi, and that's something that I'm hoping to get a bit more into because I pretty much just read fantasy. This is about a girl, Romy, who's on a spaceship speeding away from Earth. Her and her parents were living on the Infinity together. However, her parents died and she's by herself. She's all alone. The only person that she talks to is her therapist from Earth. She did get an alert from NASA letting her know that another spaceship called the Eternity is coming towards her, so she starts interacting with this captain on the other spaceship. She has learned more about this captain's mission than she imagined, and now she is wondering if loneliness is the worst thing that she could be facing. Sounds like it could be dangerous. I'm really excited to get into this. I really want to explore more science fiction, so if you have any sci-fi recommendations for someone who primarily reads fantasy to get me into it, please let me know in the comments. The next book that I picked up is Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is from the Lunar Chronicles, which is the same series that Heartless is from, which is what I'm reading for my Owls. I've heard that these are really good. I haven't read Heartless yet. I have to finish that one sometime this week, but I've heard that these are really fun, and it's a twisted version of the fairy tales. I don't know if it's going to be about Snow White or the Queen. So I'm really excited to see where this one goes. I don't know much else. Throughout the stories, all of the characters from each of the books start interacting with each other as well. So I'm really excited to read these. I haven't really ever gotten much into retellings, so that's something that I want to explore lately because it's something new for me. Next book that I got follows suit with my wanting to get more into retellings is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. This is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I have heard amazing things about this story. I think it starts off a little slow, but then it gets to be really interesting. I've heard that Uprooted has had some very mixed reviews. Some people love it or hate it, so I'm not sure if I'll pick up Uprooted, but I am really excited about this one because I've heard lots and lots of raving about this story. But yeah, that's all I have about this one. Next book I got is The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young. In this story, it is about a girl named Tova who, when she was a child, washed up on the coast of the territory of the Spell Clan. They believe that she was forsaken by her people and they have become the only family that she has known. Tova is able to kind of predict the future by casting runes and interpreting them. Due to this, she has seen something that has caused her people to go to war, but she has seen her own path interwoven in what's going on a little bit differently, and she might have to separate herself from the only family she's known. So I'm excited to see the possible political intrigue that might go on, and what is causing the war, how they resolve it, what she has to do with it. So yeah, I thought, why not? So the last book that I got is The Deepest Blue by Sarah Beth Durst. This one I purely picked up because I had just read All the Stars and Teeth, and this looked like another book taking place on or near the sea, and the cover was gorgeous. The premise does sound interesting as well. This story is about the main character, Mayara. She's living a wonderful life, she's found love and happiness, but on the day of her wedding, this giant storm is threatening the island that she lives on, and it's caused by these spirits. The only way to save her people is to reveal that she does have the ability to control these spirits. This leads her to be captured by the Queen and taken to the island of testing with other women who have similar powers to demonstrate that they are able to survive. They're abandoned on this island with nothing but their own magic. If they win, they'll be declared as heirs to the Queen. This sounds like something that Mayara doesn't want for herself and that she has been trying to hide, so I'm really excited to see how this goes. I do also like the trope when it comes to getting a kingdom that you don't want or that you're not prepared for, so I think this will be fun and will also satisfy my need for another sea adventure. But yeah, that wraps up all of the books that I got from Book Outlet. I have a whole bunch more in my cart, so depending on how fast I get through this giant stack will determine on when I'm going to allow myself to buy any more books, because I'm trying to keep that under control. I do still have a lot of books on my shelves that I haven't read yet. With starting this booktube channel, I've been reading a lot more, so I think that'll get through it a lot faster. Also, probably social distancing has helped a bit with this too. If you've also had any book hauls recently, let me know what it is that you got, or if you have some books that are sitting in a cart that you just really want to buy, let me know what those are too. But that's all that I have today, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!